Hello everyone, and welcome to our day 3 of our fold, flip, and fab craft along. Thank you so much for being part of this. This has been so much fun. Today we have our last 2 projects. Those of you that have the craft along kit, you received an extra bonus tutorial. So you actually have a 7th project to do. But I'm not going to be doing that one tonight. So that is just for you that have gotten the craft along kit. I hope you've been enjoying this so far. Sorry, my allergies are really bad. So if I'm sniffly or whatever, I apologize now. So we're going to get going on our last 2 projects tonight. They are, what did I just do with them? Our tower card and our little mini album. So what you'll need to do, I'm going to show you the pieces that you're going to grab. It's the last few pieces that you have in your kit. You still will have some extra cardstock and extra designer series paper, so you can continue crafting and having fun and making more cards. I'll be posting some additional cards. I've been doing that kind of through the week, so there'll be a couple more cards coming in the next day or so. Just some different card ideas that you can use to make some extra cards. So I'm going to pause for a moment. I'm going to flip down my camera and I will be right back. Okay, so now we've got our desktop back. You're going to need to get out your trimmer, so have that handy. And of course your stamp set, your dies, your ink pads, so your Secret C and your old olive you'll be needing. In your kit here, we'll be doing the last 2 projects, but in your kit you have a couple of arches left and this tag left and a vellum arch. You're going to be using those, so let's just pull those out right now. So on our mini album we need our petal pink arch and our vellum arch, and notice it's already been embossed, dry embossed for you. So if you're making this card in the future, go ahead and just grab any embossing folder you have. It won't really matter. It's going to be, you know, in the background. It's just a little added something to your card. And then the final piece in our little kit that we had is this little tag right here. That is going to be for our tower card. So got those pieces, and then you're going to need your ribbon, so grab out your Secret C ribbon. Now in the tutorial, I know it was basic beige is the pictures I took, but we'll be using our Secret C ribbon. And then also your embellishments that you got in your craft along package, so you'll be pulling those out. And you will need a piece of, okay, this was a leftover piece that we're going to be using on our tower card. You'll need a piece of basic white, your piece of crumb cake, and then select the 12 by 12 paper that you want to use to make the folder. I'm using the little crumb cake one with flowers. On the back side you have this pattern, but we will need a full sheet for this project here. So I've got this one. I chose this one because it's non-directional and it's easier to make this mini album using the non-directional paper, but I will need some additional pieces for our tower card, so that's why I have this one. All right, we're going to start with our mini album here. I'm just getting my directions out. So I have my directions, my cutting guide, because I do want to make sure that I'm cutting these correctly. So we're going to start with scoring our designer series paper here. So we have this, and I'm hoping it's in it. I had to kind of set my camera further up, so I'm hoping everything is in focus. And I'll try to do the best I can so you can see what I'm doing. But the first thing we're going to do is score our 12 by 12 designer series paper. Okay, we're going to start with scoring this at, and you decide if you want the Secret C on the outside or if you want the crumb cake on the outside. It doesn't matter, just, you know, select one side or the other. So I'm going to go ahead and score this at 4 inches. And when I do this, I'm not, oh, I just grabbed my, don't grab your cutting blade. Move your cutting blade completely out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to score at 4 inches, and I'm going to go back and forth. I want a good score line, but I don't want to press too hard because I can tear my designer series paper. So I scored that at 4 inches, and then I'm going to score it at 8 inches. So I'm going to pull my slide arm out, and I'm going to go over here to 8 inches. Again, go back and forth several times so you get a nice crease there. Then I'm going to rotate my paper to the left, right? So I'm turning it this way. I'm going to score at 3.5. And then 8 3/4. Okay, then I'm going to turn my paper back to the way it was originally when I scored my 4 and 8 inch. The next thing I'm going to do is I actually want to take my paper here and I'm going to go ahead and just crease along those score lines. Yeah, my other side didn't score as well here. Where are they? Here it is. And I'm doing this so that so it's easier for me to find when I'm trying to trim here. So I'm just going back and forth. Again, it just makes it easier when I'm trimming. All right. Just go along the different scores here. Okay. Now I gotta get back to my 4 and 8. I think this is 4 and 8. 4 and 8. Okay, so I'm on my 4 and 8 inch side. I'm going to actually just flip my paper over. Okay, so I have my inside facing up. I'm going to trim just a little sliver off my right side here. Just like a, 1/16 of an inch or so. I mean, just a little sliver. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to slide this back over, and what I want to do is I'm going to cut out this rectangle over here. All right. So we'll slide that back in, and I'm going to take my trimmer here, and I'm going to go down right there. And then I'm going to turn it, and I'm just going to trim that piece off. That's what I can actually do. Make it easier. I don't know if you're seeing what I don't know if you're seeing what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay. I'm just looking for my guide there. So then I'm just going to take this and trim that piece off. Now don't get rid of it. Save that. All right. So we've got our top left corner cut out. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go on to our right side here, and what we'll do is we're going to trim along the horizontal score line. So right here, this one here. So I just need to turn it. Now if you want to use your scissors, you can do that too. I am just going to take this here and get my blade. And I'm going right down to my score line there. All right. So this piece is going to fold over like so. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and tear like 1 inch off of here. So I just need to put it towards me, and I want to tear it towards me because I want to get that nice little rough edge with a little bit of white on there. All right. And that's going to be making our little pocket over here. All right, so now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go down to our bottom left, and we're going to cut along the vertical, the up and down right here. So I'm going to slide this in. I'm going to see if I can slide this all up a little bit more so you can see it better. All right. Let me just actually turn this in here. All right. So now I'm going to cut along my score line right here because I'm going to have this flap fold up. So let's grab our trimmer here. And I'm going to go right to that other score line. All right. And that piece is going to go like this. All right. Now, after we do that, what we're going to want to do is we're going to punch out a little notch. And I think in the directions I might have just put, I don't know if I said, 1 3/4 inch circle punch. Use whatever circle punch you have. Let's see. I don't know which one I have handy here. I have my 1 7/8 inch handy. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to punch out a half circle. Now, keep that piece. We're going to be using that. Okay, so put that alongside with the other square that you cut out. So you have this and you have this now. All right, now we have one more piece to cut, and that's going to be this bottom right corner. And we're going to cut from this corner to this corner. All right, so when you put it in your trimmer here, you can actually leave this, hold it open. You're going to put it right in the groove and then get this one lined up. So what I like to do is I like to make sure that I have this in place. So I have my little X right there. And then I'm just going to take my trimmer. I'm going to go there. And if I didn't go far enough, I can go a little bit more. You can put a dot on there with, you know, a marker or anything else. That is how this is going to be. And these pieces are going to fold up just like this. Okay. So now that we've got our kind of our base here done, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of adhering, and then we'll go ahead and create our little white pieces for our inside. So I'm just going to go do that now. I'm going to grab my liquid glue, and I do want to make sure that I am putting thin beads of glue here. So on this piece, I'm just going to put it along the side. I'm not going to put it on the top here. I just want it along the side. So I'm using my precision tip, and we'll get this started here. Going as close to the side as I can. Now you could use your seal. I like to get my liquid glue in there just because I feel like I can get my paper slid in there better. All right. So I'm just going to press that down. Okay, hopefully I'm not getting it all over the place. All right. Then I'm going to go on this flap here, and I just want to make this, I just want to tear this a little better. I just want to make my flap a little more even. There we go. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to put adhesive on my two sides here. Do not put it in the middle, just put it right on the two sides. So we'll do it right on the top. And right along here. All right, and then we're going to fold that in. I like to do my adhering first, so that way it's drying before I insert my little pieces. Okay, the next one I'm going to do is my corner here. And for this one, we just want to do it along the side here. you don't really have to worry about doing it here, because if you do that here, you're not going to be able to insert your piece, your cardstock piece. So we're just going to do it along the side. All right. And then this one, we're going to do it along the bottom. And all right. Now, if you find you didn't get quite close enough to that corner, just take your snips and just give it a little snip. All right. So now we have our album here, our album base. We're going to go ahead and put that aside, and we're going to grab our piece of white cardstock now. Let me get my little cover back on here, because this thing dries out pretty quick. I don't want it to get clogged. All right, so I've got my basic white cardstock here, and I'm going to cut this at 3.5 by 11. So now 3.5 by my 11. And then I'm going to move this piece aside. We're going to cut 3 different pieces. The first piece is going to be 2 3/4. The next piece is going to be 2 3/4. So you have 2 pieces at 2 3/4. And then this last piece here will be at 4 3/4. All right. So you have a little strip. You can actually use this to put a label on if you want. So we're going to just put that aside. So we've got these 3 pieces here. All right. Now, on our other piece here, we're going to be cutting this at 3 1/4. So 3 1/4 by 11. Don't throw away this piece. We're going to be using that for our belly band. All right. Now, the next thing we'll do is we're going to cut along this side, and we're going to do 4.5 and 4.5. And then I have a small piece left. All right. Now I'm going to show you where those pieces all go. So, our little 2 3/4 by 3.5. One is going to be slid in here. Now, if your glue went too far over, you can trim it down a little bit. All right. So you're going to have one piece right here. Your next 2 3/4 by 3.5 is going to go here, and this one right here. All right. Then your larger piece here, the one that was 4 3/4 by 2 3/4 is going to go in the center. So your largest piece goes in the center, and then these 2 will go on the side. And you can stamp your sentiments on there, flowers, whatever you'd like. All right. So that is this piece. Now the next thing we need to do is just do some other decorating. I'm going to go ahead, and I've already actually stamped a bunch of flowers and everything. So I'm just going to pull that out. So I have them all right here. And I believe I put in there how many pieces of each thing you need to cut. Oh, I should probably tell you, when you fold this, what you're going to do is you are going to fold this your right side in. So you take your right side, fold it in, then your bottom, fold it up. Then you're going to take your left side, fold it in, and then your top. Right? I just want to make sure I had that right on there. So I wrote it down. I wrote it down in your direction. So on here, let's see. Right side in, bottom side up. Oh, sorry. Top side down, and then this piece here. If you find, you know, maybe you didn't score it all that way, what I like to do, I end up putting my top flap, because this little seam right here is going to be hidden. The only risk is that this little piece may fall out. All right. So just line it up. Give it a good press. Okay. That will also help with this. All right. And get it all lined up. All right. So right side, bottom, top, left. All right. So when you open it, you're opening it this way. All right, let me show you what I did for here. Now, I had said to stamp 3 large flowers. So you'll be stamping your other piece, your scrap piece of basic white that you had. You need 3 large flowers. Oh, where's my other large flower here? Hold on, I buried them. Well, maybe I'll have to just cut another one. I had it all here. You know, this happens every time. Okay. Oh, here they are. I knew I had more. All right. So I have 3 large flowers. And then I have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, good grief. My other one's disappeared. Okay, you know what? We're just going to stamp and die cut. I'm not going to sit there and trying to figure out where they fell to. We'll just do it. All right, so I'm going to grab my white. Hold on. I didn't have a piece of white ready here. White. In your kit, you should have enough extra pieces to be stamping on. So, I think I'd said use an 8.5 by 5.5 piece to stamp on. But, so what we'll do, I'm going to go ahead and just follow my directions. All right. So we'll stamp 3 large flowers. And then I want 5 small flowers. What do I have here? I have 3 of them there. Okay. Okay. And then I want to stamp my leaf with Old Olive. And I said 8, to stamp 8 of them. So. I'm just angling these so I can fit them in here better. All right, so I've got all those die cut. I'm going to take that strip of paper here that we had left over, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment, and I'm going to put hello friend. It's your choice to do it in Old Olive or in your Secret C. I'm just going to grab my Secret C here, and we're going to grab the stamp set, which I moved out of my way when I was doing my trimming. There we go. And I'm going to stamp hello friend. You choose whatever sentiment you would want to use. It doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, so I've got hello friend. Like that. Oh, and I just put my fingers right in my stamp pad. Okay, so now let's get our die cut machine. Let's do some die cutting here. We've got my scissors out of the way. Right. So I'm just going to trim my basic white cardstock down here so I can get it into my die cut machine here. All right. And we'll need our leaf. Okay. So I'm doing this backwards here. Now this little dot down here, you should be able to see your green stem in there to have it lined up good. If your mat, your cutting plate is really well used, go ahead and grab some washi tape or something to hold that down. Hold the dies in place. I'm going to risk it. And just line those up. Okay, and just run those through. Now, because today is a video, if you want, you could stop it, do your die cutting, and then come back. I'm just going to cut out what extra pieces I'd need. But you'll want to cut out all of those. I really just need the small flowers, but since I'm die cutting, I might as well do more than just one. And just turn your flower. This flower is actually pretty easy to place on your paper to do your cutting. Oh, I just moved my... All right, I'm just going to go with this one here. Eventually, I would do that whole sheet, but since I have some already done, I won't need to do all of them. So I've got 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I said 5. 5. Now I want to take my label, so my little label die here, and take my sentiment. I'm going to run that through. And that little strip is just going to fit on there. All right. So now we've got our pieces all die cut here. So here is my tag. I'll move this out of the way. Okay, so now I have all my pieces in place, so when I get ready to do my belly band, I can do my belly band. Let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and put everything on the inside of our card, and then we'll go ahead and make our belly band. So on here, I actually stamped a leaf instead of using a die cut. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And I can go ahead and adhere that piece down. Now, if you wanted to write something on there or put a picture on there, you can do that. Just going to go ahead and just center it right on there. I have this piece here. Now, this piece will need that half circle that we cut earlier. All right. So we're going to put this right on here. So I'm going to just grab my Seal Plus here. And I'm going to put that right on here, right on the top. Sorry, right on the top. I didn't realize I was off screen. Put that right in there. Then, I'm just trying to see my sample here. What else did I do? I don't know where my sample just went. Okay. I'll look at the picture in the... If you wanted, you could take your blend here. You can either use an Old Olive or Petal Pink. I've got my Petal Pink one. And I'm just going to just simply dot in there. I think this is dried out. Oh no, it's still working. All right. I'm just putting some dots. All right. We'll grab our small ones. Put some in there too. I really shouldn't do that on my paper. I should do it over here. If you want to color it more, you can. I think with these, instead of dotting, I'm just going to go ahead and color. And I want 3 of these. All right. And all right, we're going to grab some of our leaves now. I'm going to take a leaf here and I'm going to put it right in there. I am going to use my liquid glue. Again, I'm going to leave this open and let it sit to dry. I just find it very hard to put seal on these things. So I'm just going to put it around the edge. Again, I'm using my precision tip dispenser. So if you got a adhesive kit from me, you would have had one of those in there. All right, so I'm going to put that down. And then we're going to take one of our kind of half flowers there and put it right in here. Okay, I want to get close to the edge, but I don't want to have a whole lot on there because I don't want it oozing out everywhere. All right, so just put whatever direction you want. We're going to take another leaf here. And I'm going to put that one going this way. And another small or half flower. I call this the small flower. And we're just going to put it right in here. All right. I'm going to come up to the top here and I'm going to grab 2 leaves. And I'm going to put them opposite of each other. I'm not really worried about the stem, like putting adhesive on that stem, because that's going to be underneath the flower. So you really don't have to worry about that. If you want to just get your leaves. All right. I'm not putting it directly, in line with each other, because now I'm going to take my large flower and just put that right on top. This would make a great Mother's Day gift, or a birthday gift. All right, now over here I need 2 leaves. All right, so one, I'm going to put like this. One, I'm going to extend it a little further. Okay. Then I'm going to take my large flower and drop this right there. Oh. And I'll take my small flower and overlap everything else. I probably should have had my green come out a little bit more, but that's fine. Okay, so then that is how I'll have all of this put together. So I'm just going to move this off to my side while we work on our belly band. Close this up. Okay, now for our belly band, we need that strip that we had before. Now this is like 1.5 inches. I'm going to cut it down to be 1 1/4 inch. You can leave it at 1.5 inches if you like that. I just feel it's too big, personally. So I'm going to cut this to 1 1/4 inches. Oh, I think I just did 1 inch. No, it's 1 1/4 inches. Okay. And, oh, I was supposed to leave it at, I'm sorry. I was supposed to cut it to 1.5 inches. I had like 2 inches there. Oh, well. It'll still work. Do what my directions say. Okay. So now we'll take our designer series paper and this piece that we had trimmed off before. This is what we're going to use to kind of put our designer paper on our belly band. Right. Before I do anything else though, I want to, let's hold off on this for just a second. Let's get our little everyday arch thing going here. And that's the wrong piece. Okay. Before I adhere this down to my petal pink arch, I'm going to actually put my flowers on the front of it. That way I really have a better idea of where I can put my adhesive, because adhesive will show through vellum. So you want to hide it in strategic places. So let's just get our flower centers, having some color. I'm going to use 2 large flowers and 2 small ones, or no, a large and 2 small. Okay. And then I'm going to use 2 of my leaves. All right, so what I like to do is I like to lay this out first. All right, so I've got this one here and this one here. Then I'm going to take my 1 small flower and put one right over here. I'm going to take another small flower and put it right over here. And then I want my large one in the middle. But I'm going to have to pull these up just a little bit so I can see my flowers a little better. Just like that. All right. Then I have my sentiment. And it's going to just be right across the top there. All right, so now that I know where those pieces are going to go, I can actually adhere them right to the vellum, and then I can put the vellum onto my petal pink. So let's go ahead and start with my leaves here. So I'm going to pull my leaf out. And then I'm going to slide it in right there. All right. And I'm going to get my other leaf right on there. Now, if you want to just move that off so you can see where you're laying things better, you can do that too. This one's going to come off just a little bit on the bottom. All right. Now, keep in mind, I want to make sure I know where I'm putting my sentiment, and I'm putting my larger flower. Okay, I want my larger flower right there. So this will help me, if I have my larger flower there, help me place my smaller flowers tucked behind here. So I'm just going to tuck that one right there. And grab my other smaller flower. Oh, it's sticking to my fingers. And I'm going to tuck this one right here. So those two flowers aren't quite touching. All right. And then I'll layer this one right on top. Now with this one, I could either pop it up on a dimensional if I want. If I do that, when I place my label here, I'll have to put a dimensional on the back. So I'll go ahead and show you what I'm going to do with that. Let's get a dimensional here. Okay, where am I? I guess I'll use pieces of dimensional. All right, so I got my 2 pieces of dimensional. Let's just put that flower on right there. Okay. Now, because this overlaps, I'll need to have dimensionals on at least one of the sides. I could put a piece of dimensional on both sides. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Basically using a half a dimensional on each side. Oh, well, that one didn't want to stick. Okay, there we go. And I'll layer that right there. Now on my original one, I did use the green. It's your choice, whichever your preference is. All right, now I know where I can put all of my liquid glue here. So wherever the white is where I can put my liquid glue. It's not going to be seen if I keep it behind that white cardstock. All right. So now I'll just put it right on there. Like so. Just kind of center that. Hold it down for a moment. It will lift a little bit because those edges we don't have glued down. All right, now let's get to our belly band. So we are going to bring back in this piece here. And again, we're going to fold right, bottom, top, and left. All right, so what we need to do here is we need to wrap our belly band around there. Now you're going to have a little bit of excess, so I'm just going to gently wrap this around. I'm going to trim a little bit off. Now I don't want this tight because I want it to be, you know, I want someone to be able to slide that off. So I'm just giving a little bit of a crease there. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim some of this off, about 1 inch of it off, 1.5 inches. All right, just so I have that middle there. No one's going to see that, so it doesn't matter if it's straight or not. Don't worry, it's okay. All right, so go ahead and adhere that together. Use a strong adhesive, tear and tape, liquid glue, Seal Plus. All right, and I'm just turning it so I can get it even. All right, and I do want to make sure that I can slide that on and off. Mine's a little tight there, so I need to loosen that up. There is a little bit of grace there if you haven't pressed it down tightly yet. grace and forgiveness. Okay. All right. All right. And it's okay if it looks like kind of a hot mess there. It doesn't matter. No one's going to see it. Promise. Okay. Now we're going to take our strip of designer series paper that we had left. This is the piece that is 4 inches by 3.5, and we're just going to cut a 1-inch strip. I'm going to actually use, I'll flip this over. I'm going to use this side. And I'm just going to put that right over the top. Now, if you want to wrap around, you can do that, or you can just get it 2 pieces to go end to end. So here we go. So we've got this. And what we'll do is, here's a little trick. You can cut this right in half. All right. Put your adhesive on. Go all the way to the edge. Just like that. On that side. And then on this side, do the same thing. Just make sure that your straight edge is all the way to the side. Like so, when that lines up, I have a little bit of adhesive hanging over the edge. Just going to tuck that under. I want to go all the way to my edge. All right. Again, it doesn't matter if you have that gap. No one's going to see that. Now we're going to take our Secret C ribbon, and I'm going to wrap it around. I'm going to tie a bow. I like to trim my ribbon down when I'm going to tie a bow. Okay, I should probably use my ribbon scissors. All right, so let's tie our bow. Then I'll have to come back and trim that, because look what happened to it. All right. And I want my bow off to my left here. I need more ribbon on that side. All right. And just make your bow whatever size you want. And we'll trim this down. Slide your belly band where you need to go with that. If you want to make sure your ribbon stays in place, go ahead and use a glue dot to hold your ribbon there. I'm going to just make sure that I slide this over enough so I can fit this right on the front. When I adhere this down, I'm just going to adhere it right along my belly band. All right. And I'm just going to use my adhesive here. And I'm going to go right in the middle. I'm going to put that right on there. There we go. And that is your project. Now I'm going to just clean up for a moment, and I will get the next project ready for us. Okay, well, while I was gathering all of this out, I realized that I did not put the embellishments on the card. So let's just grab our embellishments really quick and let's get those added. So all I did is I actually just added them around my arch there. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab my take a pick tool here, and you can grab whatever colors you want. I'm going to use, and I'm going to kind of mix and match my colors here. All right, so there we go. just add them on. And if you want to add more, feel free. Okay. Can't forget our embellishments, can we? All right. Let's bring back in our pieces here. So now, for this piece, you'll need your 8.5 by 11 crumb cake. You will need a piece of, these are your leftover pieces that you had. Some of your designer series paper. I'm using the little crumb cake paper again. I'm using the blue, the cloud cover floral is what I called it. And then a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. This is for the inside of the card. So let's just put that aside. And I have a piece of scrap paper here, scrap basic white to, oh, I don't do white on this one. I do crumb cake on this one. All right. And then my little tag. All right. So first things first, we need to grab our cardstock, and we're going to cut this to be 5 1/2 by 10 1/8. All right. So we're going up to 5 1/2. And then we want to cut it at 10 1/8. So let's move these things out so we can get our trimmer in here. I'm going to cut it to 10 1/8 right now. Now I'm going to go ahead and score it. I must do my first score at, and I just realized I cut off part of my instruction there. It's 1 1/4. I didn't see that when I sent that out. So 1 1/4. Is that right? Let me just measure this just to make sure. No, I don't have my measurement right. I can't believe I didn't have that in the... Hold on. Let me just look it up real quick. Okay, so on your tutorial, I do have it at the top part here. It says scored at 4 1/4. The 4 just came off down here. So go ahead and just use your score measurements right up on top. So we're going to do it at, move this stuff out of the way. We're going to 4 1/4. And make sure you use your scoring blade, not your cutting blade. So 4 1/4. Then we're going to 5 3/4. 7 1/4. And then 8 3/4. So we have little panels that are 1 1/2 inches. All right. So then just go ahead and fold along those score lines. Grab your bone folder. All right. So there we go. What this is going to do is it's going to roll together just like that. We do want to, since we have our trimmer out, we need 4 pieces . Wait, 4 pieces? I'm sorry, 3 pieces of designer series paper that measure 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. So let's take this down here. So I'm going to do 5 1/4. And you can choose whichever side. I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to go 1 1/4. So I've got 1. 2 and 3. All right. All right. Now, this other piece of cardstock here, paper, needs to measure 4 by 5 1/4. No, 2.5 by 5 1/4. What is this at? Okay, so we're going to do 5 1/4. And then I just want to get my cutting done right away. 2.5. That doesn't seem right either. Why? I don't know why I'm doubting my directions. I measured twice. Okay. All right. What we're first going to do now is I'm going to get some of this paper out of my... Wait. Oh, sorry. Ooh, ooh. There goes my camera. Hold on. I have it plugged in, so just remove some of this extra out of the way. I had hit the cord. All right. What we're going to do here is we're going to take our strips of paper and we're going to adhere them like so. All right. I'm not going to adhere anything to this panel. So it's just those 3 panels. So 1, 2, 3, and your 4th one is going to be empty. All right. So let's go ahead and get that added on. If you find your adhesive went over your edge, just roll it under. All right. So 1. 2. Just center your strips on those panels. I don't know why I'm counting them, because like there's only 3 of them. I find myself doing that a lot. All right. Okay. So I've got those there. Now I've got this piece right here that I need to do something with. So I'm going to actually be putting adhesive along here. Right down the middle. And I'm going to tuck that under. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just roll these together. See how I'm making that kind of stack right there? So I'm going to roll it together. And then I'll lay it flat. All right. So that way I've got my 3 columns done and that one is on the inside. All right. Now we can take our 2.5 by whatever size, 5 1/4, and put it right here. Just like that. We're going to just center that right in there. Okay, if you're using a directional paper, just make sure the direction of your paper is going the right way. All right, just like that. Now, we need our little label. I hopefully didn't shove it off somewhere. Trying to get my little pieces put away in the right place. And I don't know what I did with my label. I just showed it to you. Where could it have gone? Okay. I ended up having to cut another one because I didn't want to search for it. Okay, so now on this little tag here, we're going to stamp the thank you sentiment. So let's go ahead and grab our stamp set here and looking for thank you. You can use whichever sentiment you'd like. I'm going to be using thank you. As soon as I find a block. There we go. And I'm going to be stamping this in Secret C. And the trick here is thank you will not fit across that whole thing. So I'm going to do my handy dandy little Scotch tape method. And what I'll do is I'm going to put Scotch tape over the word you. I'm going to ink this up. I'm going to pull off that Scotch tape. But I'm going to leave it handy because I'm going to use it again. Okay, so I've got my thank. So, thank. We'll go ahead and clean our stamp off. Grab my tape again. And this time I'm going to tape off thank. Ink that up. Pull my tape off, maybe. Throw that piece away so I don't get ink all over myself. And now I'll stamp you. Like so. All right. I'm going to leave this out for a moment because we're going to be using more of that. So now I'm just going to take my Seal Plus here and put my sentiment on. And, you know, I really hope when I was writing these, I didn't go back and read this one, and I apologize if there's anything wrong on it because I typed it up pretty fast and I don't. Okay. So here's that. Now, I do need to have some flowers and leaves on the front. So this time I decided I want to stamp. I want to do something different. So I'm going to stamp on crumb cake. And I'm going to stamp one large flower and one small flower. So I'm taking my Secret Sea ink here. And I've got a large flower. And I'm making sure to hold that for a moment so that the ink soaks in because that paper is a lot thicker than our white and our vanilla. Okay, so again, I'm just letting it soak in. There we go. I'm going to grab my leaf now and get this inked up. We'll stamp a leaf. I'm going to stamp 2 leaves. So again, I'm just holding it a little bit longer than I would on other cardstock, just so it really kind of soaks in. All right. Then close those off. I'll bring in my die cut machine. We're going to die cut these out. So let's grab our 3 dies again. All right. So I know part of the craft along experience is actually getting to do this at the same time that I'm doing this. And so sometimes these videos take a little bit longer. That's why we're only doing 2 projects at a time so that you can have time to actually do them with me. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll answer what I can for you. Obviously not during the video, but you can leave a comment on the video and I will go back and check them. I will be out of town on Friday, but I will make sure to come back and check on them. All right. And our last leaf here. Get that cut, and then we can decorate the front, and this card is almost finished. This was a really easy card to do. Be creative, you know, try different colors, different designer series paper, different stamp sets. It's really a fun card to make. So all of these cards can be used, you know, you can use different stamp sets, different paper. Change it up. It will look different every time that you make one. Okay, so now let's bring in our card base here. And we have our flowers. We're just going to go ahead and glue them on here. Now, one thing to make sure of is just make sure that you don't have any adhesive when it's hanging off the edge here. So I want this one to kind of hang off right here. So when it's in the envelope, they don't see the thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one down right away. Let's take our liquid glue here. And again, I just want to make sure I really only want to do this leaf and part of that one. Okay. So now when I put that down, kind of covers the words right there because this is how it's going to go in the envelope. And I'm going to go ahead and put my flower on with dimensionals. I might actually just want to give it a moment here because I think what I'd like to do next is put my other flower with dimensionals. Now notice I didn't take the backing off quite yet because I want to see where they're going to sit. And then I'm going to put my other leaf. All right, again, if it's going to hang off the edge, that's fine. Just make sure that you don't put adhesive where it's going to be hanging off. All right, so I can actually just push that down. Just hold on a minute, not a minute, a couple seconds is fine. And then we'll go ahead and put take our backings off. Put our flower on here. You decide what direction kind of you want your flower to go. And that's fine. Okay. Now, one thing I did do on my project that I didn't include in the tutorial, just because I wasn't sure if people would have Wink Stella or not, but I took some Wink Stella, and of course now I can't find my Wink Stella. I added a little bit of sparkle, and I just need to find my wink here. So I'm going to grab a little piece of scrap paper. Now, if you don't have Wink Stella, you don't have to do this, but if you do have it, give it a try. All right, and I am just going to kind of dot on the inside of my flower here. All right, when that dries, it'll kind of just give it a nice little shine. If you want to add some to your leaves, you can. You know, I'll add a little bit here along the veins of the leaf. Notice I'm kind of painting instead of squeezing it out. I find it's a little bit more control that I have over it. If I put some on my piece of cardstock or I put a little bit on my block. So if you haven't tried Wink Stella, it is actually really neat to use. You can actually mix it with your ink and your refills on a block, on a clear block, and paint with it. I do that with my Wink Stellas that are kind of on their last legs. All right, there we go. Okay. So now when that dries, it's going to have a little bit of shimmer, so you can kind of see that. All right, before you put in the envelope, just let that dry and you are all set. So let's bring in our cards. So here is, oh, we need some embellishments. I almost forgot them again. I don't know why it is. I almost forget those every time. All right, where am I? I don't know where the take a pic tool went. Okay, oh, here it is. Right in front of me. Right here. All right. And we're just going to add some random all over our card here. So I'll start with one over here. And I'm going to do one here. And I'm going to put a couple more than I did on my one in my tutorial. I'm just going to add because, you know what, it's fun. We've got all these fun you know, dots here. Let's use them. If you like these dots, I would suggest ordering some because these things fly off the shelf. I don't know what it is about it, but everyone loves these dots, so they go pretty quickly. They're back in stock now, but they do go pretty quick. Okay, so here is my one from my tutorial. Here is this one. I just added a little bit more of the Wink of Stella on the leaves and the flowers just to pop it out a little bit more. Okay, oh, we didn't do the back of the card. So on the back of the card, I just grabbed a piece of whatever leftover designer paper I had for my scraps. And I think it was just under a 1/2 inch, but I'm going to do a 1/2 inch real quick here. We'll add this right to the bottom of our basic white cardstock here. All right, I have an extra flower that I had cut, so I'm going to go ahead and put that right on here. You could even, on this one, I added some of the cloud cover leaves that I just cut with designer series, cloud cover cardstock. I've got a piece of adhesive that's sticking out there. All right, and just put this right on the back of your card. You can write your message right there. So I'll just put this right on the back. Okay. Oh, well, my hand was wet, so I got a big smear on there. Okay. So that is our tower card, and let's go ahead and bring in our mini album. So this is the one that we did tonight, and this is the one that's in the tutorial. Only difference is I changed up the ribbon. So I hope you enjoyed these. I hope you enjoyed our fun fold class series for the last 3 days. And you can still get your craft along kit. I will be opening the registration through Saturday, May 2nd. So if you want your own craft along kit, you get a 10-page tutorial of all the instructions, all the pictures, everything that you need to complete your projects. It's all right in there for you. You actually get a 7th bonus tutorial project that I didn't make in the craft along, but you'll have enough supplies to make this one as well. It's a nice little Z fold. But I can send this to you. Go ahead and use the link that is in each of the description each day of the videos. And yeah, I'll send this right to you and you can craft away. Thank you so much again for all of you that purchased our craft along kit. I so appreciate you. And I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know if you like these and if you'd like to see more fun fold classes. All right, take care and thank you again.